Beneath the endless sky of the Canadian North, something ancient slept for billions of years. A hidden treasure, born of fire, buried in ice, waiting for human hands to find it. Towns rose, jobs poured in. For Indigenous communities, long excluded from prosperity, it offered something rare, a future built on their land.
From where it started as a young kid, listening in the halls, to where we are now, there's been an exponential amount of growth, and there's still a lot more that we can do.
For a time, it seemed these diamonds, symbols of forever, would shine without end. Today, many of those mines are silent, mined out. And the people who once lived by the glitter of promise are left to reckon with its absence. Because in the end, diamonds aren't forever.
The difficulty now is everything is so much further away. Panda Koala, a kilometer away from the process plant. And when we underground mined in Panda and Koala, it was a conveyor right to the process plant.
This journey that I've seen this week, from the 300 kilometers on an ice road to the several kilometers going down and down to get into the kimberlite, to the Indigenous people that work in this mine. And I've told you for years and years that I've never had a favourite gemstone. Right now, if you ask me that same question, I would go Canadian diamond.
To reach Canada's remote diamond mines, the journey begins with a flight to Yellowknife, the capital of the Northwest Territories. From there, the Gemporia team boards a chartered aircraft, just like the workers who fly in and out of the mines. While there are no permanent roads, a seasonal ice road is built each winter, allowing convoys of trucks to deliver heavy equipment and supplies, a critical lifeline captured during the journey north. Once briefed, it was time for the team to head out and begin uncovering the story behind one of the world's most remote diamond operations. After a long, winding drive into the depths of the pit, the Gemporia team stands at the very place where a diamond's journey begins. Surrounded by towering rock and years of excavation, they're about to witness the process. The moment raw earth is carefully broken apart in search of something rare. This is diamond mining, as few ever see it.
We've just come down 500 meters. Behind me here we have the bore. This is the current mining that's going on within the mine right now. They're just drilling, they're drilling a little bit by a little bit every day. You can actually see there's one bore and there's another bore on the right there. They are just working it out. You can see the amount of water that's being used to obviously cool everything. That water is all recycled as well, but you can see the bore in action there. So it's just bored a brand new hole. You can see all the water coming out. They're going to bore loads of little holes in the whole of the face here.
How far in does the drill hole go? What distance?
4 meters.
4 meters?
Yeah.
Wow. And then how many holes in the face before you blow?
Well, it all depends on the size of the round. Usually anywhere between 50 and 80.
One of the things I'm learning here, half a kilometre under the Arctic wilderness, is exactly what to look for when you're diamond mining. It looks like all of this could produce diamonds, but actually most of the material here is the granite host rock. Within that, you find the kimberlite, which is a lot darker than the surrounding granite host rock. But even this won't provide you diamonds. Even this needs sorting out, and they might find just one diamond amongst this whole ton of diamond ore.
In the Cabri Caleb, he taught me that he's got to dig about 40 holes in, 4 meters, then the dynamite goes in, and then they progress 4 meters at a time. And when you think about the effort it was going to, the 400k of ice road, the mile or so down here, the massive facilities we're in, and they're bringing out currently less than 1,000 carats a day.
Which really surprised me, because upstairs, all the targets are for 3,500 carats a day. So they're getting just over a quarter of what they need to long-term keep this mine viable, which is amazing. For those who already have a Canadian diamond, less good for those who haven't.
Now we've seen diamond mining this way, in my opinion now, it's totally elevated the value and the purpose of owning a diamond.
Totally.
I've been coloured stones for 20 years, sold a lot of diamonds, but never really understood the work that goes in. I would actually say the work that goes into finding a 1 carat of diamonds is probably greater than the 1 carat sometimes of some of our coloured stones. Not always, but now I see it in exactly the same light.
Having witnessed Canadian diamond mining firsthand, the team walks away with more than just footage. For Steve Bennett, whose legacy has long been rooted in the world of coloured gemstones, this experience has unlocked a newfound admiration for natural diamonds.
I just can't wait to get myself in my own collection a diamond, and I didn't think I'd ever be saying that as a coloured gemstone guy. But now I've got a complete new appreciation for the white stuff, if you like, and can't wait to get home and find myself a piece.
After witnessing the raw process of diamond mining, it was time for the Gemporia team to step behind the curtain to see how this precious earth is sorted, sifted, and separated. But before diving into the details, they had to take in something truly unforgettable: the sheer scale of the trucks. Towering machines built to carry tons of rough material, and hidden within it, the rare treasures the world calls diamonds.
Ariella and the rest of the team here at the Ekati mine keep telling me they have to mine a whole metric ton of diamond-bearing ore to recover just 1 carat of diamonds. And I've been really trying to struggle with how do I imagine what a ton of ore looks like. Then I found this car, then I found this vehicle, and we couldn't fit 800 carats of diamonds in the trailer behind us. Now I know how much material we have to mine to create your Canadian diamond ring.
So guys and girls, this is really something that's amazing. We're currently in the sorting house within the diamond mine at the moment. So where all the ore comes out of the ground, obviously we've got kimberlite, we've got granite in there as well. That all gets fed in to the conveyor system within here and slowly gets broken down as it gets passed from conveyor to conveyor.
This is where we separate it based on density. That stuff over there, the middle deck of that material, that becomes our fine diamond circuit, which is way on the other side, and that's where we get the sub 1.6 mils down to whatever size we get. I think 0.5 or 0.8.
Each rock gets made smaller, of course, so they get to a point where they're just left with the residual diamonds, and that's exactly why we've come into here today. Not only are these making this one of the most crucial parts to finding some of the most incredible diamonds that this planet has to offer, but it is absolutely intrinsic that this is efficiently done. One mistake here with any specific material losses or with any inefficiencies will cause massive problems in the industry and to the guys here.
The sheer scale of diamond processing has left the Gemporia team in awe. In the world of diamonds, it can feel like this process will continue forever, but history tells another story. Just like Argyle in Australia, once rich mines eventually run dry.
So yeah, a couple of years ago we had buckets full of these amazing, perfect octahedron, clear white, beautiful diamonds out of Sable, right? And they were all around the 3 to 4 carat size range. And there was just so many had come out in this short period of time that it was just it was really hard to really grasp the value of them, but just the sheer beauty of them. And they were just on a sheet of paper, but you could see clearly through them. There's no inclusions, and they were just absolutely gorgeous to see. That pit is dwindling, right? So those diamonds no longer exist. Hopefully they'll be able to pull that kind of stuff out of the Misery Extension, the Misery Underground, Point Lake, and hopefully in the future Jay. I don't know what that looks like, but there are definitely dwindling sources of diamonds up here. That's just the reality of it.
Back in the start, the carat per ton delivered was a lot more, and it was close, right? Like Panda's very close, Koala's very close. Now we're further away. They're harder to get, and the carat per ton return on the Point Lakes and the Sable is a lot less than what it was on Panda. Misery is still a strong one with the higher carat per ton return. The difficulty now is everything is so much further away. Panda, Koala, a kilometer away from the process plant. And when we underground mined in Panda and Koala, it was a conveyor right to the process plant. Now we're having to truck our ore 28, 29 kilometers from Point Lake and Misery and 18 kilometers from Sable. So it's harder and harder to get that piled in front of the process plant.
As mining becomes more demanding and resources harder to reach, the focus shifts from the ground to the table. With the raw material now in hand, it's time to move into the next phase. Back at the office, the team begins examining the stones up close, assessing quality, potential, and what comes next in their journey.
So here you're looking at 4 carat rough, 3.79 to 479. For us, these would yield anywhere from say a carat 20 up to, maybe a 2 carat fancy if it's a really good model. But just looking at this run of mine, there's some really interesting like cubes here, like what you see right here. Very stable stone to cut. Not a great yield on it, but you have just a really beautiful structure to work with there. The interesting thing about diamonds, and this is a great example of it, diamonds are cubic in nature. So cubes, just like what you see here, they grow in planes. Generally speaking, Canadian diamonds are not really known for a lot of cubes. So when you see a cube from here, it's really a cool thing, but you cannot polish along the face of that diamond, the cubic face. Because of the atomic structure, it's the 111 plane. It is the hardest plane in a diamond, so you generally tilt your cutting about 1 degree off of that. Some of the other interesting features that you see in here, like here you've got this one here, you've got some great trigons on it. This one here, some great trigons. And what trigons are triangles. Here you see the whole face is one big trigon. What those points actually point to is the cubic face of the diamond. So the old Dutch, the old Israelis, when they're cutting these diamonds by eye, they'll actually look at those points, and that's their orientation of where the plane, the cubic plane of that is. The old term crossworking actually is if you rotate the stone and you look at it from, the 4 points. Let's see if I can move this one here accordingly. You'll actually see a cross in it, and that's where the term crossworks comes from, crossworking a diamond. Very spiritual back in the days, of the Dutch, and so they looked at that as just a reinforcement from God that these were actually natural, God-created diamonds. Then you get into these interesting colors like these browns. This brown here is just an amazing rich color brown here. If you look at the whole mix, you'll see browns are not very highly represented, especially in that color. We believe the value for browns is an exceptional opportunity, especially for the Gemporia family, to get into some of these rich brown colors that you just don't see in large quantity. And then as we go to shapes, you have your classic octahedral shape like you see right here. That is the most classic design, definitely set up for a round brilliant. You have these elongated crystals here, which are phenomenal for emerald cuts, ovals, radiant cuts. As you get into flatter stones, I would say, something like this is a little bit more flat. And again, another round in there. And then you get into these mystery diamonds here. And these generally, well, this would be considered more lower quality, but sometimes you'll get coated stones in here. And you could have a stone that has a lot of coating in it, and as you polish it, it could come out as a decolored diamond. So we don't tell Burgundy that, but a lot of times we'll see some stones where you get a much improved color on those stones. But it's just remarkable how much nature create such unique geological shapes and formations. So when we get these in our facility, we just, sometimes we cry that we have to cut a diamond like this. There, look at how glassy that is. I mean, it's just perfect crystal, so.
After witnessing the scale of mining, the precision of processing, and the value of each stone, the team's journey now turns to something deeper, the people and places that exist beyond the industry. In the heart of these communities, tradition isn't just preserved, it's lived. Dance, gatherings, and language continue to echo through generations, anchoring identity in a rapidly changing world. But alongside tradition, questions of the future grow louder, especially for the next generation.
So we do have a lot of feasts and drum dances. So drum dances are our traditional dancing. So we have different kinds of dances. There's just the regular round dance, and then we have a couples dance, we have a mountain dance, we have a scarf dance. So just every time there's a big event, so New Year's, Christmas, Easter, we'll have spring carnivals. We always, we take every opportunity to have a big drum dance and get together. So the whole community will actually come together at the community hall, and we'll throw big drum dances, and it'll kind of sometimes it'll go until 2 in the morning. Yeah.
Truthfully, this place is a community, right? It honestly is we have no neighbor next to us, right? This isn't a big city. This is, right now we're sitting about 500 people on site that work spend half of their time together with each other. So we know the inner workings of the individual families, what they do on vacation, that sort of aspect. And that really drives that culture that we seek. And we're really proud of that. We have friends here. This is a friendship here.
The people that have started here now and the new generation coming here, I just hope they get a lot out of it. So meaning more education, getting trades that they can bring back home and talk to the different communities, and you get the back and forth on, well, it's ruining our land, but look how much land it is, and let's find out what we're gonna do with it after it's done. Let's, we gotta be advocates, and I guess, how do you say, the people that are watching, being more involved, have community members more involved right from start to finish.
There's a lot of things that we can continue to grow on and we can continue to build on. Ekati's been here for over 25 years. I think there's still a lot of work that we can do. It hasn't been perfect. Issues within the communities, we still have substance abuse issues, we still have alcohol abuse issues. Because of things like our housing crisis in the Northwest Territories, there's a lot of families who live within one single household dwelling. So you'll have adult children who still live at home with their parents because there's no place for them to go. And so they will have their grandkids living in the home as well. So the overcrowding in some of our smaller communities is something that we've been working with the local governments, so the Indigenous governments who've been lobbying GNWT and even federal funding to be able to build housing in the community. So those are some of the things that are impacting our communities still, because our communities are growing. But our communities are growing because we have this mining economic behind it to try to drive it forward. So there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, and being able to have individuals working for the mine for as long as we can, with Ekati hoping to be open for another 20-25 years, and pushing that will give us that opportunity to continue to help individuals who want to buy homes, who are looking to buy boats, who are even considering going to post-secondary school. We have scholarships that we provide to our Indigenous groups on an annual basis that they provide to their students. So there's a lot of hope still, and there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. And I honestly think that from where it started as a young kid, listening in the halls, to where we are now, there's been an exponential amount of growth, and there's still a lot more that we can do.
Back then, mining used to be kind of like the Wild Wild West. People would set up, they wouldn't have to talk with the indigenous groups. But when my dad was chief, that changed. So he basically saw the benefits of the mines, and not just a economical benefit, but he knew that it would create a lot of jobs, a lot of good skilled jobs, skilled trades and things like that. Like myself, I was a millwright for a couple of years. I worked for Divic for 10 years. And I had a good time working with that company. There's been a lot of jobs created for people all over the north, not just the north, in Canada as well. In Canada. My dad was basically, he helped push the mines to have certain rules. 60% northern hire, 40% indigenous hire. But the big thing at the end of the day is having the remediation plans for the diamond mines when they shut down. Because where the diamond mines are, that's our traditional caribou hunting grounds. The mines have been great for the north. It's made Yellowknife reborn.
The conditions are harsh, the work demanding, and the future uncertain. Because diamonds, like the mines that yield them, aren't forever. But here, in the north, there is something that endures: tradition, identity, and hope. Hope that the next generation will not only inherit the land, but the stories, the strength, and the wisdom that come with it. This isn't just the end of a journey, it's the beginning of a deeper understanding of what these stones truly represent, and of the people whose lives they quietly shape.